Good morning, good afternoon.
Audio okay for you? Audio okay for you?
The audio is okay for me. I will need, today I will have a presentation also. So I will need the, how you call this, the host. Kindly make me the host and we can run the screen share.
You're no host.
Okay, good, good. Thank you. And here we go.
Now we will come in. You set it up. Change the computers.
What happened? Oh. Do you see the screen?
Yes. Yes, we can see.
And do you see me as well?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, good.
We need to wrap up in 45 minutes, okay?
Absolutely. Can we start in dot 5 minutes? So, good afternoon, everybody. We have 2 more minutes till we begin. And just a quick check. Do you hear me well? Good, good, good. All good. Wonderful. Okay, let's begin. So, those of you who are present at Indus Valley Ayurvedic Centre, namaste. My name is Avisek. I've been studying psychology, studying yoga for several many years. I work as a yoga psychologist. And we are not starting to communicate in this very moment as I'm starting to talk, right? You walked into the hall, or you logged in, whether your camera is turned on or off. The moment you saw me, my face on the screen, you have started communicating with me. And the moment I saw you, I started communicating with you without any exchange of words. And as truth must be told, the most part of this communication is happening much below our conscious awareness. It's happening at the level of our nervous system. My nervous system is trying to look at you, your nervous system is trying to look at me and to think in a very binary way whether am I a threat and whether am I gonna kill you, eat you up. And my nervous system is thinking, is this is a threat? Is this person sitting in the front row gonna stab me, judge me, criticize me, kill me in certain way or the other? And based on that, I'm putting you in a box. Much before you said hello or you smiled at me and I smiled at you, and we realized we actually belong from the same hometown in India, and we were actually a schoolmate and whatnot, and we felt, oh my goodness, so happy to see you because we are good friends, good old friends. Much before all of this happened, we have already exchanged information, and that is some way is a big benefit of communication, because a million years back we didn't have this luxury to go and tickle a tiger or a wild animal and to figure it out whether it's a friend or a foe, right? So we needed a system that can kind of like a radar which can sense, oh, is this a threat or it's not a threat, is a friend or a threat. Now, once said that, this also this system, this software can also backfire. Much before we open our mouth, it can already put a filter and tell us, uh-oh, I don't really like that person. Doesn't seems to be okay. We cannot blend in. Right. And when that kind of thing takes place, you know what? The communication stops. Anyways, we are living in an age where We are never being so distracted. As you are talking to me, maybe a part of your mind is already thinking about, my cell phone is buzzing, my smartwatch is buzzing, what's going over there and what's happening there. Maybe I need to finish this and move to the yoga mat to do my yoga practice. I need to go and have my lunch. I might have a Ayurveda therapy. There can be 100 different thoughts happening in your mind. It can happen in my mind, and things are really complicated. When you received, and if you received the information about this talk virtually, I clearly mentioned in that note that communication is the key to harmonious living. And the reason behind this is communication of any kind is a form of energy exchange. If I cannot communicate to you, transmit energy to you, and you cannot transmit energy towards me, the words are going to be very empty. And to support this statement, let me give you an example. I'm quite sure it didn't happen to you, but you might know a friend who had experienced this. So he or she might be sitting next to his partner, and the partner is talking for a while, and the other person is nodding his or her head. And after a while, the other person says, "Man, you are not here. You're not present." And the friend might wonder, like, how come? I've been here all throughout listening to you. And the person says, "No, you are absent. You're not present. You're not listening to me." So see, even the words are reaching your ears, yet when energetically we are not present, we might feel, something is missing. And that's what we call sending message is not equal to communicating a message. Just because you are talking and another person is hearing those words is not communication. Like right now, to be very honest, I am not sure whether we are communicating. I might be doing an absolute pure monologue, and you can have a complete different movies going in your head and have no ability to draw, which is not that good. So there is this battery source, power source, and there's the electric circuit, there's a switch, and this is supposed to be a bulb. So now when this circuit is closed and the electricity will flow through it, the bulb is going to glow. And this is the principle of communication. The energy has to pass through a channel, and it has to reach the source in a right manner, proper manner, for that information to manifest, to understand. In case if the switch is faulty, then no matter how good is the battery and how many wattage the bulb is having, voila, nothing is going to take place. So we need to be very careful about the energy channels, and that's what we are going to look into it in a short while. Communication has two important dimensions. One is speaking, or sharing the input of information, and one is the receiver. So one is a transmitter, one is the receiver. So the speaking and the listening. Any one of these two is missing will create a faulty communication channel. Now, why I mentioned the communication is essential for harmonious living. Let's begin to understand this fact from an individual level. Most of us are living in a very nucleus family, and most of us are living very alone and if I may have the permission to use the word, a very lonely life. We live in a bubble that we create, and inside that bubble, we do talk to ourselves. So we can live in a family of three, four, whatever, but we are constantly talking to ourselves. When we are talking to ourselves, the tonality, um, the word selection, the judgmental attitude with which we communicate to ourselves is always defining, am I building up a bridge or am I building a wall around me? Wrong communication, self-communication can very often create a wall around us, and we might find ourselves quite stuck inside that. How that happens, and this can happen with all sincere good intention, especially if you are raised in Indian parenting was offered to you as a child, and I'm generalizing. I do believe some of you might not have experienced this. As a kid, we were criticized. As a kid, we were told, "Don't do this," and look at somebody else, and look how wise or how good that person is. Maybe it's your cousin, maybe it's a family friend's kid, and we were always compared. So we might feel the way of self-education is through comparison, is through criticism, and we need to compete to improve ourselves. Now, what happened is we created a prototype of this, and we copied this way of communication, which is, to be very frank, now is a pretty backdated way of communicating, and we installed that software in our head. So right now, you might be an adult, you might be living in US, you might be living in Dubai, you might be living in Honolulu. No matter where, you carry your software with you, and that software tells you in your own private space is the way it wants to communicate through you is through criticism. And the downside of criticism is criticism never builds connection. Rather, criticism only hampers the connection. And without connection, there is no correction, there is no deeper communication that can take place. So, though the intention is very, very appropriate that you want to improve, you want to achieve your higher potential, but instead of developing a connection, you are hampering the connection. And then you are wondering why, when I'm telling to myself that I need to do certain things, these are my morning affirmation, I need to wake up and do my morning 1 hour of yoga or meditation or go for a jog. And the next day, my body is simply not complying with that. And my body is saying, adios, I'm not going to listen to you. I want to be lazy, my head on the pillow. I want to stay covered, sleep, and whatnot. This is because not lack of communication or lack of intention. Intention is there, but that energy needs a medium to reach to the end, the other end, and that has been hampered by this self-criticism. Now, once said that, this is where I bring in the word mindful communication. And in mindful communication, the principle is very simple, and that is what is said and what is understood has to be at par. There should not be any difference because of what I am trying to tell to myself, and that could be as simple as that, Avi, from tomorrow, try to reduce having an ice cream in the evening. And this is a very realistic example. When I'm telling this to myself, my head, my body has to agree to it, has to listen to it, and we need to be in the same page before we can move on. And this is an essential quality. And a lot of things get lost in translation because what is said is not necessarily what we mean, and what we mean, and that's not what we say very often. And this happens not only in self communication, but also when we are interacting with others. So now, what can we do to bring a transformation in our communication skill? And this is a practice which is not, press one button and you are gonna transform your life for good. No, it's an ongoing practice, and that's where yoga, Ayurveda comes into play. It's an invitation to try to synchronize your inside with outside. What is happening outside is creating an impact in our inside. What is happening in our inner world, in our inner universe, is going to impact our outside. And this cycle is an infinite cycle of game that is going to take place. So, generalizing again, there are two categories of people. The one who believes to work out and do things and bring change in the outer world, are very exercise centric. And then there is another category of people who are more into inner size, if there is a word like that. Of course there is not. So inner size is, I'm going to only transform my inner space and my inner work and not really focus on the outside. Both are going to find it challenging to reach to the state of harmony. Harmony is a state when the totality is embraced, and this totality means my inner world is the reflection of what is happening outside. My outer world is in congruent with what is happening within myself. Now, once said that, well, at first place, it's much easier said than done. It requires one to find space to look within and to see, now what do I do? What's happening within myself, and how can I tune in with myself to help myself to connect with others? Now, if you're a parent, this example you might understand this much easier. There are sometimes when you went through a bad day at work, you had a really challenging day, you are not in your best mood, and you return from the office and you realize on that particular day, coincidentally, your kids are throwing tantrums. They're way off balance. They're more screaming. They are doing all sorts of things that they should not do. Right? Now, what happened? And you feel like, oh, come on, the problem never comes alone. They're always, they club things. It's not the case. The case is very simple, that our inner energy manifests the outside world. Our outside world creates an impact on the inner world. And that's why the practice of any form of mindfulness is a big umbrella. And under this umbrella, there can be yoga, asana, pranayama, taking a massage, going for an Ayurveda therapy, taking a mindful walk, you name it, journaling, sitting by the lake and watching the ripples of the water of the lake. All of these can be a mindful practice where you are witnessing the experience taking place within yourself and around yourself without trying to hold the leash and control it. Right. So now what we want to do is, if we want to increase this awareness, what's happening within us, there's one simple thing that we can do, will be to become more empathic. That is, empathy begins with yourself. In a very simple word, you have to be totally, sincerely present with what you are experiencing. You have to connect with your wandering mind, be in tune, return the mind to the body. And only when you are 100% present, then you have the possibility to connect with others. So I'm going to scroll up a bit, and this should be the first rule that I want to really tattoo in your mind. This principle can be used anyone who wants to improve communication with oneself and communication with other. The acronym goes STOP, STOP, where S stands for becoming silent. Now, some of you might have heard this. The word silent uses the same alphabet as of listen. They are spelled with the same number of alphabets and the same alphabets. So the more you become silent, the more you can listen. And becoming silent also creates space. Communication is not only about who has the loudest voice or who can talk 1,000 words per minute or who has the best phonetics, accent, vocabulary, knowledge, wisdom. No. Communication begins with holding a space, and if you allow me, I will use the word a sacred space. A space where the other person feels safe to be present. So, the takeaway, if I may say this, is next time you go home and you want to talk to your teenage kids, try to make them feel safe. They should not feel that you as a parent, you as a boss, you as a adult, you as a wisdom holder is coming from a space where you are a prosecutor. You are judging them, you are trying to put them in a box or criticize them. Rather, they should feel safe. As you talk, I feel safe to listen. And the moment I feel safe, I am more open. So the safety is developed by becoming silent. So sometimes deep conversation is made of few words. This might not be the right example though. Few words and a lot of moments of sacred space in between where people can process. The T stands for tuned in. If I'm talking to you, I need to feel you, not just your rational mind, but your totality. And we need to come into a same page, in same energetic vibe. And then start the communication, the conversation. Preferably, communication should happen also with a sense of openness. I am not necessarily the one who's holding the truth. Sam, will you kindly put your, I can do that, just muted you. So it's not the space where you are very opinionated, you hold an open awareness, a state of openness. You're ready to be questioned, you're ready to embrace somebody holding a doubt and having a conversation. And the maybe most key factor in a successful communication is being present. And this must be the most challenging thing because we love doing multitasking. I often do that when a good friend of mine is talking to me and I'm like, okay, please tell me what you're saying. Okay, okay, what else? Oh, yeah, you're well. That's good. So nice. Just give me a second. Let me send you a text. So if that's my kind of interaction, obviously I'm not present, and you will feel that you are not heard. Yeah, and that's not what we want to do. So if we can check these 4 areas, silent is not that I want to talk to you but I'm gonna zip my lips. That's not the thing. Silent means a state in your body which is calm, which is not agitated, which is relaxed, which is grounded. And we will look into some practices in a few moments which we can do to make ourselves really silent physically. And then holding a space, tuning in with my own thoughts, my own energy, as well as with the person I'm talking to. Very often, if you're talking to a small kid who's like half of your height, it would be wonderful if you can come on your knees. Bring yourself in their height. I have taught a lot of yoga with kids, and never I have started teaching standing. I will always go on my knees and have an eye-to-eye level contact, and that helps to tune in. And holding an openness. One of the best practice of openness is this. As I'm talking to you right now, I'm trying to add a smile on my face, like, okay, listen, let's talk about something. And believe it or not, this is my fake smile, okay? I'm not sincere here. But even though I hold a smile on my face, you will find it less threatening. And then if you want to go into more neurobiology of connection, there's a way of smiling. When you're smiling, there's a one thing where your lips are, the corners are raised, and the lower part of your face is active in smiling. This is one thing. And another part is where your eyes and the upper part of your facial expressions are active in the smile. If you can do that, if you can really engage your eyes and the upper part of the body, irrespective of how you look and which is your best side and doesn't matter. If you can engage your whole face, your neural behavior are such, it's gonna be more connected, more present with the other person. So one of the way to communicate better is not just to smile with your lips, but also with your eyes, with your forehead, with your ears, and become expressive. That helps. By the way, if you do that, it also helps you to relax. Like right now, as I'm doing this, I'm less nervous. I'm not seeing like, oh my goodness, so many sincere, serious people are looking at me. None of them are really smiling and having that poker face. That's really scary. So do smile, that helps. Okay, moving forward. So as I was telling you, one of the biggest challenge of communication is the wandering mind. And this happens especially when you're in a board meeting, you're at work, you entered with all your enthusiasm, or you're a therapist like me, and the patient starts talking. After 2 minutes, you have spaced out. You're thinking, oh, in the evening, I need to do the laundry, the grocery needs to be done. And what happened to my travel plans? The vacation is coming. And then you find yourself, I was not being listening for the last 15 seconds. I had no clue whatsoever what the person was saying. And you try to connect the dots and you cook up a story. So very often this can happen. What the person is saying and the story that is being cooked in your head are completely different. Yeah. This can happen between partners also, because usually the human beings, we have a favorite way to communicate, and we say, oh, I know what she's going to say. let me space out, let me think about something that is way much more important, and I will come back. I will still know what she wants from me or what he wants from me. And that's a perfect recipe for a, what can we say, a bad relationship, communication. This cognitive rigidity is another thing. That's what I was telling you moments back, that I know what you're going to say. That happens, right? Somebody opens their mouth and they try to explain to the things, and especially it happens among partners. And you say, I know what you're going to say. I know this. You're going to tell me this, right? So this cognitive rigidity, you are putting the person back into a box every time you say this. You can be right. There's no doubt about that. Maybe 30% you will be right, but then 70% you are also not necessarily allowing the person to express and to have a possibility to change. Okay. So you have to be careful about this. This is another thing that we can draw in our mind. You can mentally draw this graph, or if you have a pen and paper with you, you can draw this. And while communicating, you see in which quadrant you are more present. So our mind, an unaware mind, if I may even use a non-yogic mind, will be in autopilot. A non-yogic mind will be distracted. So these are the two XY axes. One is focused or distracted. One is in autopilot or open awareness. The person is aware of what he or she is doing. Now, normally, it will be wonderful if we can be in this quadrant where we are a blend of focused and open awareness. So we are not having that laser sharp focus. Growing up, at least me, the parents used to come and say, please focus on your studies. Need that lot of, so anybody telling you that you can focus moments, then you have to move into an open awareness, which is more an eco mode, where you are not consuming